So when we're working in professional kitchens, there are plenty of sauces that we know to enhance the flavor of dishes. And I'm going to show you 4 essential sauces today that are going to take your cooking from here to here. These are epic classic sauces that elevate any dish. But I'm going to show you the secrets how to get the most out of them and the right things to pair them with. So at the end of this video, you will definitely learn some new skills and be a much better cook or chef in the kitchen or at home. Right, let's get into this. So we're going to start with the chicken jus. So we've got a little mirepoix here, which if you don't know what that is, onion, carrot, celery. Just going to chop this up into little bite-sized pieces. So that's the start of it. We're going to get that sweated down in a minute. And then I've got some wings here, basically kind of chopping it into 3. If you don't have one of these at home, get yourself a nice little sharp knife, like a kind of heavy chef's knife, and that should do the trick. Obviously, watch your hands. So we've got our chicken all chopped up, mirepoix. We're gonna start browning that and get out that Maillard reaction. Get those real nice brown flavor notes. Gives you a really nice meaty jus.
Heat up 2 tablespoons of sunflower oil in a pan, get it hot, and start searing off that chicken. A little bit's gonna stick to the bottom, don't worry. That's exactly what you want, and you want this lovely brown color just like that. It'll take you about 7 to 10 minutes on a medium heat. Then you're going to add in your mirepoix vegetables, mix that around for a couple of more minutes. You see all that beautiful brown on the bottom? That is all fond. Now stick in some bay leaves, a few sprigs each of rosemary and thyme, and then we're going to pour in 500 mils of white chicken stock. Recipe for that on the website. Once that's in, start deglazing the bottom of that pan. Just scrape off all those brown bits. Very nice flavor building indeed. Now just going to bring that up to boil, simmer, and let it reduce by just under a half. Pass that through a sieve. Hit the back of a ladle, really push that through, and then you're going to skim off the fat. Use a smaller ladle, don't be a donut like me. Now you got this beautiful liquor, now we're going to keep reducing it till you get a sexy glaze like this.
So we've got our chicken jus here. You can just see how rich that is and how much it's been reduced down. It is incredible, the amount of flavor. Now, you would see this in restaurants, especially fine dining, all the time, back in the day. But now, not so much, because obviously you can see the amount of labor and food cost goes just to make a nice bit of sauce. Same principle for beef demi-glace. If anything, try this once, because the amount of concentrated flavor in this, you've got to experience that. Right, on to the next one. Right, now the next sauce we're gonna make is sauce vierge. This one goes really good with seafood. It's an olive oil based sauce, made famous by a legendary French chef called Michel Girard in the 80s. So we're gonna get 150 ml of olive oil, right? Looks like a lot, but trust me, you can have this hot or cold. It keeps in the fridge for a few days. Squeeze in a whole lemon, mince in a clove of garlic, add some coriander seed and a chiffonade of basil. Just squeeze your lemon straight in. Get yourself one of these. For home use, it's okay, don't worry. You're not obviously going to use this in a pro kitchen, but save you a bit of time. I'm going to add some coriander seed, about half teaspoon or so. A little grind. Get that in. Lovely. You get your tomato, make a little cross in the top. Don't go too deep, and then run the tip of your knife like this and take out that little stalk. Put that in a bit of boiling water. The skins will peel right off for about 20-30 seconds. Put it in some ice water, peel them off, and then I'll show you what we'll do next. Tomato's been in for about 30 seconds. You can see it's just starting to come away. We don't want to cook the tomato, we just want to shock the skin off. The skin's already starting to kind of come off. Just peels off just like that. If you've got any that's stuck, you can use a little bit of a knife like this just to hold it. And it'll come straight off. Cut that in half. Cut that in half again. So you've got like quarters. Just run your knife along the seeds. You can see it comes up. And what you're left with these petals. Trim it off a little bit, square it off. And all you want to do is just cut yourself some nice little strips like that. And then just go along, give yourself a nice little dice. Basically, you're going for something like that. Tomatoes straight in. Now I'm going to add a nice bit of salt, bit of pepper. And then now what we do to lift this up, we're going to add some basil. You need about 2 tablespoons. We're going to chiffonade that in. Get your bigger leaves, put the smaller leaves in as you go. So start with the biggest and work your way through until you get to the smallest. Roll it up. A blunt or a cigar, your choice. Bit little fine chiffonade like this. That lovely, lovely, lovely basil. Get that in. And there you go, sauce vierge. Now, check your seasoning. You can serve it hot or cold. if you're going to warm it up, which is nice, you just want to gently warm it up to about 30, 40 degrees. Look at that. Whoa. Okay, I'll show you what we're going to serve it with. Just warmed up. It's a very gentle sauce, so don't overdo it. Get that into your plate. Some lovely shrimp. Now that's a classic. Serve that up with cod, chicken, fish, anything you want. Cold is nice too, but warm is delicious. Treat yourself, get a bit of lobster. Do it with a bit of that as well. Right, let's have a little taste. Cheers. You get real nice acidity from that sauce. Perfect with the seafood. Absolutely banging. Right, on to the next one. Right, our next sauce we're going to make is a soubise. Basically, it's sweated onions thickened with a bechamel. Originally, this sauce was made for Charles de Rohan, who was the Prince of Soubise. Escoffier took that sauce and basically thickened it with rice, bacon fat. Nowadays, people just basically add a bit of cream rather than doing the whole bechamel route, but I'm going to make it the traditional way with the bechamel. So I got about 200 grams of onions, got about 40 grams of butter. You got butter in there. Get these straight in. A little bit of salt.
Sweat the onions down for 10 to 15 minutes without any colour.
Got our onions there sweating for about 10 minutes. Nicely soft, no colour. And what we've got here is a bechamel that I made earlier. There's a recipe for this on the website. This one's unseasoned. So it's about 250 mils of bechamel, no seasoning on it.
We're going to simmer this roughly for about 10 minutes. It's going to be a nice gloopy mess. And then it's going to come together like this.
So we're going to get that into our blender. That looks pretty good. Oh, lovely.
Now, pass this through a chinois or a sieve. You're going to have a few little lumps of the onion because it hasn't fully cooked down, but that's okay. Once you've got that all through, add 150 mils of whipping cream, and then we're going to get that back on the stove. Gently mix that through, then grate in some nutmeg, and you've basically got your soubise all done. Now, this is a blank canvas. You can do all kinds of different things with this. Just going to warm it through so it's thickened up nicely, and it should be like this.
Now, there's beautiful soubise. Absolutely gorgeous. Now you've got it at this stage, you can do all kinds of different stuff to it. If you want to add some spices, I'm going to put in a little bit of curry powder. So you can kind of use this as a bit of a blank canvas. And what I'm going to do with this, just a little bit. You can just see the color has completely changed. I'll show you what we're going to do with that.
Cut some little wedges of leek from the bottom. This way you do not have to wash them. Trust me, no grit.
Some lovely seared leeks here. This is just some focaccia that I had in the freezer left over. And you just basically blitz it up a little bit and toast it. Get a nice little serving plate. Start getting these on. They're nice and warm. And then you got your lovely curried soubise. A little bit of olive oil. A lovely little dish right there. Just get stuck in, eh? Absolutely banging. Lovely curried soubise. It's a really comforting winter dish, this. Very nice. On to the next sauce. So the next sauce we're going to make is a sauce called sauce verte, green sauce. Now I used to make a shitload of this when I used to work for a chef called Rick Stein back in the UK. It's basically a cold mayonnaise type sauce, and we're going to add in a bunch of blanched herbs that have been blitzed up. I'll run you through those. This is fantastic to have with any kind of fish or even roast beef and roast chicken as well. So I'll run you through all the ingredients on this tasty little number of a sauce. First things first, let's get an egg yolk, because we're going to make little mayonnaise by hand. By all means, you can make the 2-minute mayo as well, but we'll go a bit old school with this one. So get yourself 1 egg yolk, add a little bit of Dijon, about a teaspoon. Put a little squeezy bottle, really helps here. So just put it in little bit by bit until you've got about 150 mils or so until it's all incorporated. Now the sunflower oil is neutral. If you use olive oil, you can do, but it does get a bit strong. It's at 150 odd mils. You can see it's thickening up, and you've got yourself a mayo. Now it's a bit thick. That's a nice thick mayonnaise. A bit of lemon juice. A bit of salt. A little bit of pepper there. That little mix through. And that is how you make a basic mayonnaise. Set that aside. So you want to use a selection of really nice, tasty, soft herbs. So I've got some tarragon here, some little baby spinach. Just pick off these little stalks. And then some parsley. You can use curly as well. So it's probably about 28 grams, 15 grams, and about 35 grams of that, roughly. I'll leave it all in the recipe description. I'm gonna blanch these and then we're gonna blitz them. Make sure your water's boiling. Put your lid back on, it will start coming up to the boil again. And then we'll just take it out and refresh it.
After those herbs have been blanched for about 1 to 2 minutes, take them out and put them in your ice bath.
Straight in. Let that chill, and then do the same thing with your parsley and your tarragon. You go straight in. So what we're going to do is we're going to knock out some of the water from this herb. So drain this. Got quite a lot of herbs there, but they're still full of quite a bit of water. So just squeeze it out. Get yourself one of these little blenders. They're really good. So put everything in there. Blitz this up. So we don't want like a full puree. So something like that, if you can see it. Okay, so we're going to add our herbs into this. It's so vibrant, it's so green. So we're going to mix that through. Beautiful, beautiful green colour. Now what we do is we add a bit of cream. So we add a bit of whipping cream, like double cream. You can use creme fraiche and things like that too as well. So go slow with it. About 100 mils or so. Obviously the more cream you're adding, you're going to dilute the colour. Have a little taste. Sauce vets, just like, honestly. You get all the herbs, you get that lovely flavour, such a nice mouthfeel afterwards. Okay, I'll show you what we're going to do with it. Put a nice bit in your plate, a nice little round, lovely piece pan-fried salmon. And there you got a banging little lunch. Super crispy. I've got the skin nice and crispy there. Cheers. Absolutely banging. You know, it's really hard to beat the classics. They just stood the test of time. You know, especially when you got recipes as old as this. They're just so good. And you got a nice piece of cooked salmon like that, crispy on the outside. Nice, fatty, unctuous. And then you got that sauce with all the herbs, everything. It's just a real pleasure to eat. Beautiful. So there you've got classic sauces. These 4 essential sauces will make you a better chef or a better home cook, that is for sure. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. For all of you that have done so far, I appreciate you all. I will see you all on the next one. Cheers.